South African lawmakers have voted for the embassy of Israel to be closed in Pretoria. Yeah, they've had enough. They asked Israel to cease fire, to allow people of Gaza to breathe a little bit, especially the people that have absolutely nothing to do with the attacks, the people who have never carried weapons their whole life, or these millions of people that are suffering and right now going through a difficult time. And Israel has refused to stop. So the lawmakers of South Africa, parliamentarians, have come together to push a motion to close the embassy of Israel. So South African lawmakers on Tuesday voted in favor of a motion to close the Israeli embassy in the capital Pretoria and suspend diplomatic ties with Tel Aviv. That's a very bold move. Absolutely bold, because African countries don't react like this. Yeah, for the most. They don't. Whether they believe in what you're doing, even when they're 100% sure in the stance they have, and they don't agree with you, if you are one of those countries, they will not dare to do this. So the motion introduced last week by a third largest opposition party, the EFF introduced a motion, was debated in National Assembly, where 248 lawmakers voting in favor, while 91 opposed it. So 248 lawmakers against 91. That's a big number. People coming together against Israel. The main opposition Democratic Alliance, the DA, which is predominantly white. We need to say that. I think it's very necessary to remind you that South Africa is an interesting country. We'll get back to that. The DA and other parties voted against the motion. So the DA say, no, you should not close the embassy because it goes against your own thoughts. I mean, your own way of seeing things. South Africans actually they offered to mediate between Israel and Palestine, because South Africa actually get along well with people of Gaza and Palestine. So they said, we can mediate your issue. We can talk to them. We can talk to both parties so you can find a solution. But Israel was not willing to do that. They wanted to continue the campaign they were doing. So the DA, which, like I said earlier, is a predominantly white political party in South Africa. Let me remind you that South Africa is a country that went through apartheid, where black people and white people did not mingle. Okay, they were not friends. Today they can be friends. Some can act friends, but there's still residues of all these difficulties they've been through. South Africa suffered. I mean, they went through a very difficult time. While many African countries, Congo, Senegal, Uganda, Zambia, most of these countries got their independence in the 1960s. South Africa was still under the shackle of the apartheid. And apartheid was no joke. Apartheid was white people on one side and black people on the other side. Restaurant for white people, restaurant for black people. Toilet for white people, toilet for black people. Buses for white people, buses for black people. Okay, living areas for white people, and those nonsense, rubbish, for the blacks. Good jobs for the whites, and you know what I mean. So it's still very fresh for South Africans, at least the adults, the grown-ups. They still understand what it is to be part of a country where you do not benefit from the same right as the other people. So the South Africans, the black people of South Africa, say no, we need to close our embassy. In the meantime, the DA, which is predominantly white, I think it's necessary to say it, they say no, do not close the embassy. You tell me, would that be because the white people of DA don't understand the pain of apartheid, that they deem this okay to, I don't know, I'm just asking. What do you think? Do you think is it because people of DA, because they never went through apartheid, don't understand the pain that Palestinians in Gaza are going through? Or is the DA just being loyal to their friends? Penny Majodina said on Tuesday, the Israeli embassy should remain closed until they agree to a ceasefire. So a ceasefire is necessary. I mean, you need ceasefire even in war, so you can eat, so you can breathe, so you can treat the wounded, so you can take care of people, so you can allow the civilians to move to the side to avoid damage. But obviously, Israel, as well as their friend America, refused the ceasefire to allow even the people that are obviously not involved in this stuff to breathe. So they say, we're going to close the embassy until they agree to ceasefire. South Africa recently withdrew its diplomat from Tel Aviv. We made a video about it. I don't know if you remember. They said, you know what? Well, if you do not follow the rule, okay, because in war, there are rules. You don't bomb hospitals. You don't bomb schools. You don't bomb civilians. You don't do that. If you start doing that, this is not normal war anymore. You're violating international rules. So South Africans said, you know what? We're withdrawing our diplomat from you, from your country, hoping to guide or direct at least Israel into a direction of peace. But the response was not what they expected. Genocide under the watch of the international community cannot be tolerated. Another Holocaust in the history of humankind is not acceptable, Minister of Presidency Kumbutso Ntshavheni told reporters. Genocide under the watch of the international community cannot be tolerated. Another Holocaust in the history of humankind will not be accepted. For its part, Israel said this week it was recalling its ambassador in South Africa for consultation. So South African lawmakers choose to close the embassy of Israel in South Africa, and Israel chooses to call back its ambassador. So things are heating up very, very quickly. And again, you must remember that lawmakers propose, and this decision is still within the hand of the government. Cyril Ramaphosa, the president of South Africa, will decide whether this embassy will be closed or not. I just found it very interesting that lawmakers in a country can be divided in this manner. And as much as you may try to avoid it, you can try to say whatever you like. Very clear cut. A while back when South Africa was accused of sending weapons to Russia, I don't know if you remember, okay, they accused South Africa of sending weapons to Russia. The people of DAs were condemning and asking questions to the president. Are you not aware that there's a boat is in South Africa is sending weapons to Russia? Okay, they were putting pressure on the president. The leader of the DA say to the president of South Africa, if you know that South Africa is sending weapons to Russia, you are criminal. You are guilty. Now, if you don't know that South Africa is sending weapons to Russia, then you are guilty because you are incapable to assume the role that you are assuming. So there was a lot of attack. Let me put it this way. South Africa is friend with Russia, meaning the ANC is friend with Russia. The ANC is the political party of Nelson Mandela. There's a lot of black people. It's friend with Russia. In the meantime, the DA, which is white political party majority, is friend with Ukraine. Now, South Africa, or the ANC of black Africans, is with Palestinians. The DA is with Israel. So everybody's looking for their own interest. It's very clear. I mean, how come you as a country do not go with the same voice? It doesn't make sense. Do you think people of Gaza deserve a little bit of consideration, especially the people that have done absolutely nothing into this story? These people that are victims, okay, as well as the people. We pay attention to the people of Israel that have been victim to the situation they did not choose. So are the people of Gaza who have not chosen their situation. Now, the South African lawmakers have come forward in a tremendous manner asking for the embassy of Israel to be closed, because they do not respect other people. And they say whatever they're doing is unacceptable. It's another genocide and another Holocaust. They cannot accept that. Which African country is ready to do this? Okay, which African country? The lawmakers of South Africa even said this to people. You need to stop. This is not a spiritual war. It's not a religious war like people are trying to begin. No, it's not. I know many people trying to make it spiritual. Oh, it's the end of... No, it's not. Okay, it's definitely, you need to do your own research. From what I know, Jesus was not Christian. Okay, many Christians are trying to support one group because they believe Jesus was not Christian. Jesus was not Christian. No, he was not. Christianity was created after the death of Jesus. And Israelis are not Christians. They are Judaism, that's their religion. So this has nothing to do with the war between Christians and Muslims. That is not what it is. Get it out of your head. That's just for context for you. It's not a war between Christians and Muslims. It's not. Okay. Thank you very much, fellas. Let me know how you feel about this. What's the move of South Africa means to the war? The only African country to clearly react in a very clear manner. And we've seen many African nations take stance because they believe it's a war between Christians and Muslims, or Christians and the devil. I find that absolutely absurd. Lack of knowledge. God bless.